Good morning. So I'd characterize most relationships, certainly ours was before the Imago relationship therapy. They're unconscious, they're old brain, they're reactive. My partner does something and I automatically react. For me, it was to shut down. I did that for a long time. But if you look at that objectively, pretty counterproductive. And the authors, Susan Campbell and John Gray, help explain why. All right? And they say if you think about it, all we have upstairs really in our brain is memories and imagination. If my partner does something that I deem negative, then that goes into my memory. She leaves the room. When she comes back in, my memory suggests that either something negative is going to happen, or at least I'm going to be on guard for it. All right? And we go into that fight or fight or flight or freeze response. If we fear something negative is going to happen. So then our upper brain, it tries to make sense of what's your body doing. All right? And they call it the storytelling brain. And it tends to go to the worst case scenario. I know mine does. All right? It says the storytelling brain is the part of our wiring that concocts meaning. When the storytelling brain processes information, it will oversimplify. And it will arbitrarily connect the dots based on past experience and past unfinished business, not on present reality. All right? And it makes up a story. I'm always last. I never can get it right. My feelings don't matter. Whatever story. All right? And then partners begin to see each other through the filter of mistaken generalizations. So what stories have you made up? And here's a good one. I made this one up for a long time. And it was at least a year or two after we got back together. The story in my head was, okay, I tended to be the pursuer in the relationship. And so in my head, I'm thinking, well, why can't she just turn around? Why am I always a pursuer? And the aha moment came, honest to God, it was, why can't I just back off? It was just as, I realized it was just as hard for her to turn around as it was for me to back off. But as soon as I did back off, guess what happened? It gave her enough room to turn around. And of course, that's what she did. It was a good story. Anyway, earlier in the book, the authors, remember they explained how the core fears get established pretty young. Remember we said that for the first 2 years of life, most of the child's learning is right brain, all right? It's nonverbal. So it's tone of voice, gestures, touch, expression. And so those core fears get activated. Then what happens in a relationship is your partner does something even vaguely similar. Tone of voice, gesture, expression, and the old brain reacts automatically in an unconscious relationship. Remember we said unconscious, old brain, reactive. All right? And then those old fears get triggered. And so a great metaphor they use is the sword and the shield. The psychological terms are preoccupied or avoidant modes of behavior. But the sword attacks. You always, attack. What's the shield doing except defending, backing off, using logic, staying in their head, humor, distracting conversations. They avoid. All right? And as they go on to say, partners operating in the preoccupied or avoidant modes tend to behave in ways that bring about the very outcomes they fear most. So the sword wants the partner to be close, but as they attack, the partner just avoids more. Now, is there a solution? And again, they go to the pause. If you can hit the pause button, if partners can push the pause button when they feel triggered, they could simply ask, what if I'm inaccurate in how I see this? Or what if my story is simply what I fear to be true? It's not the reality. All right? And they quote the old adage, don't believe everything you think. They conclude we can learn to communicate in ways that get our real needs met, our need to be known and to know, to love and feel loved, but not by using the sword and the shield. So in the Imago system, that's when we use a safe conversation process. So if couples can learn to talk to each other in a safe way about anything that's happened, they'll sort it out. But you can't attack or withdraw. Anyway, okay, so have a great day, great weekend. See you next week.